Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Movie Chatter. This is going to be a fun episode tonight. I can tell already because one of the three of us has not shut up yet about how emphatically they feel about tonight's film, Army of the Dead, the latest action film on Netflix, written and directed by Zack Snyder. And this is going to be... this one's going to be fun. So while I'm fixing the logo down here in the corner that says Random Chatter instead of Movie Chatter, Lou, why don't you? So let me ask first. I want to go around the table here because I don't like zombie movies at all. I'm not like I do kind of like The Walking Dead, though I can't like it that much because I'm still a few seasons behind. And otherwise, I don't like a lot of this stuff. I don't like vampires. I don't like werewolves. I don't like zombies. And that whole thing, just no interest.
It's okay, Eric. They don't like you either.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah, I get that. Like a zombie has never once tried to eat my brain. They always go for the other people.
There you go.
Of course, they probably starve if they got me, but I don't know. I just don't like zombie movies, but I thought this one was okay. Lou, tell me about your thoughts on this type of film. And then I want to hear Robin's dogs.
And Robin's dogs are
they're fending off the hordes. I want to hear what you think about zombie movies in general. And then we will give our thoughts on this specific movie. So Lou, you do that to cover the fact that I'm fixing the logo here in the corner.
You're doing something you won't be listening to me. Yeah. I understand. Yeah. It's kind of funny because I feel the same way you do, Eric. I don't particularly like zombie movies. Although I see a lot of them. I mean, I watch everything out there that's got zombie in it. And, for whatever the reason, I don't know why. But maybe I'm always hoping for a better zombie movie. I don't know. I always find a lot of holes in them. There's a lot of plot holes and, the world building. I mean, we all go by the certain rules that zombie movies kind of hold every time. But that's not always the case. Some zombie movies throw a little twist in there at you. I don't know. And I am not a big fan of The Walking Dead because I feel the story plot hasn't moved along at all in any season, but that's a different story entirely. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I watch a lot of zombie movies, but I'm not a fan of zombie movies. I guess I'm always hoping for something better, I guess.
All right. That's fair. Now, Robin, what about you?
Well, if you were hoping for something better, Lou, then your hopes were dashed.
Wow.
Dashed on the rocks. The sea coming in.
We're not at the review.
We're not talking about this one
yet. Robin. So just
I'm not a fan of zombie movies. I watch them because people I love in my life are fans of zombie movies. Every once in a while, I say, well, that wasn't awful. So I mean, if it's not my go-to,
is that what we're going to be hearing tonight? Is that it wasn't awful?
You said we're not at the review yet.
My bad.
Now, if you gents were to say, well, let's watch another zombie movie, I'd be like, okay, but there's a musical on the horizon. Quite sure of that. So
okay, let's not watch a zombie movie.
Zombies movies.
Actually, Lou.
So we're not fans, and we all decided to watch this. Really?
There is a musical on the horizon.
Is there?
No, there. No.
What?
I mean,
a zombie musical. Wow.
I was going to say In the Heights by Lin-Manuel Miranda, coming to HBO Max pretty shortly here, I think. Another week or two.
Yeah, I think it is coming pretty soon.
We probably should cover it. But Robin, if I
I mean, kind of like this, it's something new that's coming out on streaming. Yeah. We should cover it. I agree.
I think so. And I think it's going to be good. I liked Hamilton. I love Lin-Manuel Miranda. I just call him Lin. I mean, we have that kind of rapport. I can just,
Okay.
Yeah, he calls me, who are you? We're pretty close.
Yeah.
So, Robin, if I actually suggested a musical for the show, would you watch it?
Sure.
Okay.
Why not?
Okay.
Does it have Hugh Jackman?
Oh, I legitimately have to think about it for a moment. I do not think. No, I don't think.
Is it directed by Kenneth Branagh?
I better not say any more.
Boy, there's
I
a
better not say any
silence right
more,
there.
or else I'm going to A, get in trouble, and B, we won't end up covering either of the two options I'm about to suggest. So we'll save that for some other time. But Lou, what did you think?
Yes.
About Army of the Dead? So he did a Day of the Dead or Dawn of the Dead or some other Zack Snyder did a something of the Dead movie. And I've not seen any of those.
I didn't realize that.
Living Dead, Night of the Dead, Afternoon of the Dead.
I've seen some of the classics, and
I'll get it.
I think there's a remake or two of those I've seen, but I didn't realize Zack Snyder did. Maybe I haven't seen his version of it. But.
I think his was the most recent of any of the. I think it was him and James Gunn worked together or something. I don't know.
Okay, I probably haven't seen it being a recent one then. So, overall, I thought this was a cool take on. I mean, anytime you have a movie that starts out where they talk about nuking Las Vegas, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm in.
Like, is this a documentary or is this a news report? Which is it?
I mean, I thought the premise of this being a zombie movie as like Ocean's 11 heist type movie, pretty cool.
It's a different spin. It's something we haven't seen before, and it gives a way to kind of put a story, a quest, some motivation for the characters in there other than just merely survival. Like, they're there for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
In a minute. I think she preloaded on Tylenol for all the eye rolling she's going to do in this episode. She knows it's going to give her eye strain. So she...
Probably.
I agree with you. I think the Ocean's 11 thing... I think that was a good spin on it. And like I said, I haven't seen any of these other zombie movies really.
Mm-hmm. I mean, having the fact that, the beginning of the movie I thought was pretty cool. The way that things started out, this got away from them. I want to know more about what that was. Why was the military transporting this? Did they know what was going on? Did they have a plan for this piece? Obviously they did of some sort, but whether that was bioweapons research or whatever.
So you caught the fact that spoilers, kind of. I won't even say it's spoilers because I talked to people about these points and they're like, wait a minute, really? It was aliens, right? The shots early on in the movie, that things streaking across the sky and like the blue glow in some of their eyes, but not other eyes of the zombies. And then the thing that got removed from the body.
I didn't see the thing streaking.
Was blue at first until it died and then became flesh colored.
I thought that was the spark of what the more intelligent zombies were.
Yeah.
Alien.
I didn't realize it was an alien.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't realize there was something
There were
across
a
the
lot
sky
of Easter eggs of different things throughout the movie that you don't need to know. But then if you do know, Zack Snyder talked about some of them. There's also a 30-minute, the movie is so popular, by the way, there's a 30-minute documentary that just hit Netflix. It is it's tied for number 9 of all time Netflix films. There is a spin-off series coming focusing on the safecracker guy, the German.
Okay. Yep.
There's a sequel they're working on that's a direct sequel to this film. And I think there's an animated series that's a prequel. Like, they're doing the whole world building thing for this, Robin, which I know is a big relief to you because really you wanted to see more fleshed out because you had some complaints about the story. It wasn't everything that you wanted it to be. So now they're going to bring us the rest of the story.
You said fleshed out in a zombie movie. I like that.
You were talking about how they had holes earlier, and I was thinking, because they bite you. Oh, so many puns.
So, I like that aspect that there was more going on than just a survival movie, right? I mean, you mentioned that. I think that's good. I didn't realize the whole alien impact to this, which arguably was, even though I didn't realize it was probably a better done Alien tie-in than Indiana Jones' most recent iteration was.
Much.
I know. I thought there was, and maybe we'll get into this later on. We talk more about maybe shortcomings of the movie, but I thought that there was a lot of stuff that wasn't developed as much as they probably could have. Some stuff kind of happened. I'm like, what, did I miss something in between those characters? Because I don't remember, okay, I'll just go with it, But all in all, I thought it was a fun movie. I thought it was a, interesting take on it, and I was entertained.
Okay.
Which is what I watch.
I'm going to try to keep mine down to 30 seconds because I know that our listeners are waiting to hear Robin's thoughts. I'm kind of burying the lead intentionally here. The longer I can keep people tuned into our YouTube channel, the better. I just realized I'm still wearing my safety glasses from work today. Talk about like dorky looking thing. They've got these protective side panel things on because like I work in a production environment. Yeah, I'm just going to take those off entirely because I don't need to read anything.
I thought you were worried about Robin reaching through the screen. No, and actually,
but Lou, you look much better.
Now that you can't see me?
Well, I mean, you're, it's kind of like blobby, but I mean, sexy looking guy right there. Let me tell you.
Let's go to your review.
Anything to keep the girl from talking. Go ahead, boys. Go ahead.
I could, because I know it's going to be explosive once you do. So my thing is, I agree with Lou. I think that it was a fun ride. It started out a little worrisome as the movie went on. I thought that we got some character development for some of the characters, and for those characters, I think it worked. I thought that the motivations of the characters, like the quest. I liked the fact that this was a zombie movie, a post-apocalyptic movie with a quest other than just surviving. Like they were going in, they were doing kind of a stupid thing. But it was it was a heist job. You go in and you do the heist. And then plus, are you going to get screwed over by the person who hires you? And so there's all of these different little pieces of these genre movies that have kind of been stereotyped and layered in over top of one another to kind of bring this amalgamation of stuff that you don't normally get to see. Is it wonderful? No. There were parts of it that kind of sucked, but it was a fun kind of sucky. And it was, and there were all these little I loved how, like, he's hired in for whatever it is, like 10 million or something like that. So then he's going to split it and give this other person like 5 million. And the next person they bring in, it's 1 million. And then, 500,000. Yeah. And finally the security guy at the end is like $10,000. Oh yeah, I'm in. And then you notice, with one exception, they all die in reverse order of what they were paid, which I thought was kind of cute. I don't know. There were all kinds of little things along the way. And there was one thing I thought, and I thought of you, Robin, as I saw this. There was a point where I thought time travel was going to be involved.
I did too. I was getting so excited.
They tried. They wanted it bad.
I think that's going to come back somehow in the world building. And I think they're going to do some sort of thing where I don't know what they're going to do. We'll come back to that. But Robin,
what?
We will we will bite our tongues.
No, it's fine. Here's the thing. I just wanted it to be one movie. Just one movie. Zombie heist movie could have been fun, but it wasn't one movie. I think it was just trying to do too much, right? So we had zombie heist movie. We had, which I keep coming back to as the funnest. But then we had this whole military complex where, we're not quite sure, everybody's got their own agenda for going in, like literally everybody except for the people who were hired to pull off the heist. So that could have been a movie unto itself. Father-daughter, break apart, come back together, whatever those things are called, right?
Heaven forbid we have character development,
Well, yeah, but really, toward what end? all of those were tiny little things that kind of got put together. And I'm a little disappointed in Mr. Snyder. He's made some really, really good movies. And this just wasn't one of them. It was kind of like everybody was tripping. And at the end of the trip, they all went, oh, yeah, people are going to like this. Sure.
So how many zombie things have you watched?
Because, he did Dawn of the Dead back in 2004. I have seen that. I've seen World War Z.
You saw Zombieland, but that is outside of the point I'm about to make. But you've seen some Walking Dead.
I watched, I think, everything but the last 3 seasons of Walking Dead because I got tired of it. Just zombies.
So just zombies. I'm not, and this time around,
zombies are not aliens.
We got more than just zombies. We got a heist. We got Vegas getting nuked. We got Dave freaking Bautista and machine guns going off everywhere. We've got what's his name?
I think I have seen Dave Bautista.
The guy that had the only good part of the Mortal Kombat movie, and who was in Lost, and who was in Helix, and the guy I love, and I can never remember his name when we're actually on a show. Anyway, the guy who owned the corporation. Like, we got him, who I love. We got like some humor. We got all of these things that you never get in a zombie movie. And if you compare this to other zombie movies,
there are better zombie movies.
Really?
Dawn of the Dead was a way better movie.
I haven't watched it, so
and so was World War Z.
No.
But here's the thing.
World War Z.
I feel like he could have done better with Dave Bautista. Like, here you have I like Dave Bautista a lot. I just think that he didn't bring anything out of him for this particular film. I feel like most people were flat except the safecracker and his buddy.
They were some of the highlights.
That relationship a lot.
Yeah, but I'm not sure how that relationship got developed. I'm like, when did that?
It just kind of happened.
It developed before your eyes. It was like this natural.
Yeah, it was almost like it was an accident, and then they just kind of fit into place. I was okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, did I miss something where they all of a sudden bonded? I'm like, okay. I mean, I get it, but it's cool. But
they didn't really.
Okay.
There was no intention behind it. They just kind of ended up in the same place at the same time, and they kind of covered each other's butts, and then it's kind of like, we've got kind of a flow going here. We're falling into a groove. Let's just go with it. And
yeah, but to me, it was that early on, they both underestimated each other, right? And he underestimated. I really got to get his name because I really like the character.
I thought they were both good characters.
Which one? The German guy?
Yeah, and his bodyguard guy.
Dieter.
Not bodyguard, but
Theo was his.
I don't remember the names.
Was his bodyguard guy Theo?
No.
Mickey Guzman. Yes.
Wait, what?
So Dieter. Right?
No. You keep talking. I'll look it up on IMDb.
No, he wasn't. That wasn't his buddy there. It was. Me
without my glasses on.
Omari Hardwick is the actor's
Rohe?
name. Yeah, Van
der Rohe.
I mean, again, I don't have my glasses on, but that's him. Omari Hardwick. He was really good.
So Dieter was a really, really, smart character who underestimated the intelligence of Van der Rohe, right? Van der Rohe, very well played, underestimated Dieter's ability to take care of himself. And so, you know, it was sort of that kind of click that happened. And to me, it was a very natural click, right? And that's what I really appreciated about that.
Okay. I mean, I just felt like I missed something because I'm like, I don't see why these guys should be clicking as well as they are.
No, I think Robin's got it.
I didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I think it's just simply that. And I think the audience underestimated each of them too. And I think that's another reason why that worked.
The one thing I didn't care about for the Dieter character was I didn't get how he went from being this guy that's like mousy, kind of, you know, I'm a nerd, I'm a bookworm, I'm a tech guy, to all of a sudden, hey, I can do all this stuff. And they play out a little bit of it throughout the thing where it's like, yeah, I shot a guy. Oh, I did that. And it's like, okay, but you wouldn't make that much of a change that fast.
But I don't think it was. I think he thought it was more of a change in himself than it really was. Because if you remember, it's like, I shot that guy like 3 times. And the guy says, 4 times. Well, you should shoot him 1 time. If you have to shoot him 4 times, you're doing it wrong. Right? So, I mean, how competent was he really? I think it's just he kind of found his confidence. And then after that, like, he got a little bit better. It's not like he went around slaughtering a bunch of zombies. He's got the lowest kill count in the film by far. But yeah, I mean, I think it was one of those situations where you had a large enough cast that there were only so many things you had time to do. And I think for the amount of screen time they had, they did about as well as they could with developing, those 2 characters. One thing I really didn't like as far as the characters go, the Coyote character. And again, as you can already tell, spoilers galore here. Okay. So not only did I not like her character that much, but the scene where she's got the head and then like she's holding it to kind of create this standoff situation so they can get on the helicopter. Why didn't she also get on the helicopter?
Yeah, right.
Like,
yeah, I did, you know, back away towards the helicopter and toss in the head the last second. That. Right.
Because you can still threaten to just drop it off the side of the helicopter and the threat still exists. You're not sacrificing anything in that standoff by getting in the helicopter. Yeah. There were some things that didn't make sense.
And this is, well, here's the other problem. I wanted them to explore the origin of the king zombie,
Alpha.
Whatever.
Yes.
Right? The alpha, right? He was wearing dog tags. So we knew he came from the military complex. There were military types in the room with the casino owner, right? Like, if that were the story, that would have been enough for me. I believe they didn't need the heist then, right? They still could have hired Dave Bautista, and Bautista still could have gotten out and gotten his team, and it could have been a richer, more textured story.
The heist is what made it interesting. If you remove the heist from the film, you have what? Like just another zombie.
You got guys. Right. Well, you have guys going in there to get the alpha.
Right.
Because the military complex clearly wanted to figure out a way to reproduce what the alpha had versus just the regular
Yeah, but
zombies.
then anybody in their right mind would have said, hell no. You created this mess and you want us to go retrieve your data so you can make money? No. Like, what person in their right mind would take on that job? They'd probably shoot the military guys in the restaurant. I mean,
well, for the right amount of cash, they'd say yes to anything. I mean,
sure.
But then you would never respect the characters. You would never root for them as they're going through the movie.
Oh, I agree.
No,
yeah,
you got to have the heist. The heist is what made the movie cool.
And that's one thing I think that made the movie bad at the end was that, and we're going to spoil the whole thing here now, that, you know, nobody gets anything out of this.
No.
I mean, not one person got one itty bitty part of satisfaction to make this thing worth it to anybody. And while I'm not the kind of guy that needs a happy ending every movie, I'd at least like a glimmer of hope somewhere. I mean, this was just, yeah, okay. I mean, this is like the ending of Rogue One. Everybody dies.
Thank you, Lou. Thank you.
It is a zombie movie, Lou, and not everybody
died.
I
mean, you even
Just
had that hope
one
at the
girl.
end where.
One girl. That was it.
Yeah, true. But she didn't have anything to show for it.
Ironically, if they hadn't taken on the mission, all the zombies would be dead. Instead, we're going to have a sequel, apparently now based in New Mexico, after the plane lands.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Or Mexico, not New Mexico. Right? It was Mexico City.
Was it Mexico City? Okay.
No, I thought it was New
Either
Mexico.
way.
Okay. Either way, yeah, I thought it was
it's going to land
Mexico,
somewhere,
anyway.
and yeah, if they had just not taken on the mission, Vegas would be nuked. Everything would be fine.
And I did really like I want to rent that plane. I'm sorry, sir, we don't do that. And she just starts putting stacks of cash on the counter. Let me see what I can do.
See, that person got something out of it.
For
There you go.
30 seconds.
No, she took the money. She went home at the end of the day. She wasn't on the flight.
Oh, her.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, all in all, I mean, like I said, I was entertained. Will I watch the sequel when it comes out? Sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I thought Dave Bautista did a great job. I mean, we didn't get to see much of his acting in Guardians, right? I mean, he didn't really give.
I mean, so Robin, you said,
there was
he came
a
across a
for
little
him
flat.
to
I
be.
mean, he's a flat actor. In Guardians, and I don't know what kind of influence he may have had over his own lines in the script, because I know, there's some flexibility with that sometimes. But if it weren't for his lines, I mean, it wasn't his ability to emote that made Drax interesting. And then the character at the beginning of Blade Runner 2049, flat. And then this flat, that's how he is. And I'm okay with that. It fit.
Yeah.
Some people in real life are just that way, and that's him, and it felt real to me. And I think that it actually helped because, like with a lot of Zack Snyder's stuff, the rest of the movie was anything but flat. It was very over the top, which, again, that's just how Snyder does things. But to that point, the effects were really good. So even if you didn't like the movie, if you like filmmaking, I didn't get more than maybe 10 minutes into the 30-minute documentary, but they're talking about how, I don't know if you guys know, Lou, you know what LiDAR is, right? Because like the new iPhones, one of the ways it does the Face ID, even like in dark conditions, is it uses LiDAR, and it puts like all these little dots across your face and it's like almost like a 3D mapping sort of technology. So what they did was that place right after they crossed the wall, after the first act of the movie, when they went through those trailers and stuff, that was all like LiDAR'd, and then stuff laid in over top of it and around it. And then they actually flew, I don't know if it was a plane or a drone or a helicopter or what, they flew through Las Vegas. They LiDAR'd the whole city. They have a computer reconstruction of all of Las Vegas. Like an actual real world 3D mapping of the whole thing. It was incredible. I imagine they're going to make bank selling that off to other movie makers. Like they've got individual cars. They've got individual signs. They've got like windows and how far the windows sit in from the windowsills. All of that. So like the level of production was incredible. I thought that the directing as far as an action movie goes was good. There were a lot of times where the scenes had the right level of intensity. And if you've seen zombie movies over and over and over again, it's the same old thing. Like how many ways are there to ramp up the intensity level that you haven't already seen a gazillion times before? I mean, it's a pretty stale genre, in my opinion. But he did it. He made it work, and I appreciate that. And yeah, all kidding aside, you're right, Robin. There was no story. Like this was not a plot-driven movie, or at least not a story.
Right,
there
right.
was a plot, but it wasn't a story-driven movie.
Right. But yeah, but like I said, there were so many things that they had set up and just never expanded on. I mean, we had the interaction between, the alpha and his queen. We had the child she was carrying. We had the whole thing with the girls that the daughter was going in to rescue. That whole thing was like, oh, okay, yeah, that was there too. It was never developed,
it was
really.
like, oh, hey, there they are. Let's go. At the end.
Yeah. It was like, okay. I mean, and it was a long movie too. It was over 2 hours, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's so many things that they put in the movie that they didn't have time to develop because they already had so much in there. It just seemed like they missed a lot of opportunities to make some depth out of some of the stuff that may have made someone like Robin go, oh yeah, there really is a story here,
I think that there were some things they did well. They did the whole thing about the smart zombies. Like the alpha guy knew to put like metal, like a helmet on his head to protect his head. Like that that required some level of insight. So I think they demonstrated, rather than just telling us, they demonstrated that well. But yeah, there were a lot of balls that got dropped with the storytelling, with the world building. They're there, but they didn't go anywhere. And I wonder how much of that was the intention of trying to build a franchise out of it somehow. But then, as you said, some of them were very, very specific to this film, like the pregnant mother and the baby and all of that. Well, that's gone now. You can't continue that storyline in a sequel somewhere, I guess, unless you have them able to reproduce now. But
right, that could be something that they're going to run with. Yeah,
you could have introduced that from scratch in the next movie anyway, and not had it had to have happened here.
Well, it gave the alpha a reason to be more pissed off.
It did,
right? I mean, it was his motivation for going to get those guys,
and I think that helped. Like it gave you a sense of stakes. Like this guy was gonna get that. He was pinpointing them. He's gonna get them no matter what. Like you messed with the wrong zombie, sort of thing. Right.
But I wish they would have. I mean, I wish they would give me a smart zombie movie. Like I have always wondered why zombies have to stay, just like in iZombie, right? So here's another zombie movie where they give you a moment where zombies are evolving, and then they sort of take it away from you right away. It's like no one wants to delve deep into what that might look like. This is the closest we've gotten to a zombie maintaining his humanity.
Did you watch iZombie?
Yeah. Will Smith?
No. iZombie was the CW
that was
series
iRobot.
I'm sorry.
about
No. I'm sorry.
the
I'm
zombie
sorry.
girl who would eat like a piece of flesh off of a victim and then would like take on the personality of the victim to help solve the crime.
She worked like in the morgue, right?
I'm sorry.
You're thinking I Am Legend.
I'll get the name of it.
Okay.
Yes, I Am Legend.
Technically,
There it
those
is.
weren't zombies. Those were vampire. I guess kind of a vampire zombie hybrid.
There was something
based on a short story by I think it was Richard Matheson.
Still liked it.
Very good, by the way.
Still liked it.
It was a good movie. The short story was even better. And
Zombie.
but I mean, I think that this was smarter than those.
Yeah. I wanted to explore it. If they would have given me that exploration, I would have been happier.
We nuked them.
What?
Because they're
so
zombies.
human of us.
Yeah.
Because they're smart and really strong.
I would have nuked them.
Only some of them.
And they're in Vegas, so it's like, no big loss, right? Just two birds with one stone.
What did you think about the tiger?
Unnecessary.
Yeah.
Completely unnecessary. The tiger in The Walking Dead, brilliant. The tiger here, kind of dumb. Like I get the whole Siegfried Roy thing. But like it served.
Are you telling me that
nothing.
the tiger's now patrolling an area means the tiger's smart?
Yeah, the tiger is a.
Yeah, So they train the zombie tiger? I don't know. You know, I
Well,
don't get
it is
yeah.
one of Siegfried and Roy's tigers, Lou.
It was a trained tiger.
So it'll
yeah,
clearly obey anybody, including an entire group of strangers it doesn't know.
But and that's another example of things in here that they kind of just didn't really think it all the way through. It's like we didn't need that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also trying to thought something else was going to go over this. They just forecasted all this stuff to you really blatantly that we know. Okay, we're going to see the tiger again later. He's going to kill one of the main characters. And the guy that was the douchebag in the beginning that was screwed over the girls, we're going to see him again later. Oh yeah, and because the zombies took him, he's going to be one of them. He's going to be playing a big role at the end. It's like it was just like, here you go, telegraph this one, telegraph that one. You'll see this guy later. I'm like,
you said at the beginning of the show, Lou, that you liked the movie and it was a fun ride and it was a lot of fun.
It was.
So
it was. But I mean, these are all things that make it. They could have been a great movie. But it's like, I mean,
but it's a zombie movie, so like it matters. But on a certain level, it doesn't matter.
You don't have to spoon feed me this stuff. It's like, I mean, I don't like to be told everything.
But Lou, you have to keep in mind that I'm sure that the target audience for this movie, at least 73% of them are drunk. Okay.
I wish I would have been.
Or high, or both. And so you do have to actually dumb it down a little bit for them, Lou. I mean,
hence my comment about, the trip. We all needed to be on that same trip in order to really enjoy this movie.
Okay. There were two things that bugged me. I already mentioned one of them. Why didn't you just get in the helicopter with the zombie head? The other thing, when they're down outside the vault and the one guy is talking to the other guy about the team that was left there before.
Right.
One is wearing the same bandana around their neck that Dave Bautista is wearing. Another person is wearing the same necklace and then separately the same chain with the same key that the woman is wearing.
Right.
And not only is that the case, but in case it wasn't obvious enough to you because you were either drunk and or high, they cut away to those characters to make it clear. In fact, Lou, they cut away to the person's neck and then back to the necklace again. And then back to the character's neck and then back to the necklace. And then the movie pauses and Zack Snyder pops up from the bottom and says, "Do you see what I'm doing here?" And then he drops out and the movie continues. Like, it's that obvious. And it's...
Oh, I missed him popping up.
Well,
but
yeah. I mean, you were drinking a little too much, I think. But when you throw something like that in and it's so you're talking about spoon fed. This is like shovel feeding, not spoon feeding, right? And then they go nowhere with it. It's like, wait a minute. Are we talking like alternate dimension? Are we talking this guy who runs a corporation is like cranking out clones or something? Is it time travel? Did they like, are they going to end up dead there later and somehow like have traveled back and their memories are wiped or something? Like there's all these, like quantum physics things now that you're like, wow, where are they going with this? And I didn't finish the movie when we talked on Random Chatter the weekend before last. And I told you guys, I said, listen, so far I'm like 2/3 of the way through the movie. I'm liking it, but they just introduced something. I have no idea where they're going to go with it. And I'm excited to find out what they do. And they did nothing. They did literally nothing. They could have done something and it been bad. And at least they would have done something with it.
And the character Vanderho even said, did he say, yeah, this is the time loop thing? Yeah. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Right. Because if they did all of that to let us see that Vanderho was actually a philosopher, then that was a long way in order for us to see that Vanderho was really a smart guy.
Yeah.
Right. And again, that's one of the problems with this movie. It needed to be one movie, not a whole bunch of movies and the kitchen sink.
I don't know. I liked 5 of the 7 movies
LSD.
that this was. The other 2 movies it could have left behind. Yeah, they needed to do something with that. I think that not only was it a missed opportunity, but it was distracting. You should never get to the end of the movie, of any movie, and have the audience go, wait a minute. You said this thing earlier. Like, you should never have that moment as the credits roll, ever.
I mean, you can get to the end of the movie and go, you need to see it again.
Right.
Like in the Tenet
what did
or
that
Inception.
mean?
You know.
And does that open up new things? Do I need, like The Matrix or something? Like,
yeah. Yep. I mean, Zack Snyder really needed Christopher Nolan to be working on this with him.
Yeah. Just to keep things straight.
Yeah. Then we could have had both the action stuff that we had and a really complicated story that makes you go, I don't think I understood everything, but I liked
Fortunately,
it. You know?
On July 17th, they're releasing the 4-hour black and white cut that's going to have the rest of these story plots filled in. And it's going to be the black and white version because it's more artistic.
And they're going to have CGI mustaches in most of the characters.
And
I don't like either.
They're doing a change.org petition. They don't even have anything to petition right now. They just created one and said, "Hey, dude, sign your names because it's cool." Because it's the Zack Snyder cut of Army of the Dead. You have to do something.
Something. Well, it's the Zack Snyder cut of the Zack Snyder.
What we need,
Army of
we need the George Lucas cut of the Zack Snyder cut, where like all of the good stuff gets trimmed out, and the movie's like under 2 hours, and like it's
every character has its own song.
Ooh.
Oh, you mean like score, like theme? I thought you were back at the musical thing.
Yeah.
But speaking of songs, though, this was the best iteration of zombie being played in a zombie movie ever.
I hate.
I thought it worked out
so
like that.
At least they took a good arrangement of it. It's not the original like radio cut.
Yeah.
I've always hated that. I love the Cranberries.
I like the song. I like the song.
But it fit here.
But
like they're playing it. I'm like,
I'm watching. I'm going. I'm like, wait a minute, that's zombie. I don't think I've ever seen a zombie movie where they played zombie in the movie. I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Well, maybe they had to wait until the singer passed away to get the licensing for it.
Maybe.
Because it's not.
Maybe the singer came back.
Oh, Lou.
Zombie.
That's disrespectful.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Lou. And the song's not even about zombies. It's a socio-political.
I know. Protest song. Yes, I know. But
so
there
it is.
There it is. Yeah.
It's there. It's a Zack Snyder film, and it's a zombie film, and it's a heist film, and it has Dave Bautista and lots of guns and lots of Zack Snyder cuts, who's kind of like, parallel to Michael Bay. So it's, you know exactly what you're getting when you walk into it. I thought it was good. I thought it was a fun ride. Is it great? No. It's plenty good. It's good.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. You're not paying anything any more for it. So,
I mean, everybody has Netflix. I'm out here in the hills of West Virginia. There are cows on the property next door to me. They have Netflix. So you've already got it.
Sure.
Just watch it.
So now, better question. What are we covering next week?
Oh, wait a minute. We didn't do the round table where we asked if we would each recommend it to people. And I'm really curious as to whether
let's do that.
Whether all of us would recommend it. I would recommend it. Lou, would you recommend this movie to people?
Yes, I would.
Interesting.
Primarily because it was a fun ride, and you probably already own Netflix.
Those are two really good points.
If it was like Disney Plus, where you had to pay the premium subscription fee of like $30 to watch it, I'd probably say no.
Yeah, I'd probably say to wait until it's on the regular.
But if it's on a streaming service you already pay for,
because it was also a fun ride. Point number 2.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, Robin, what are your thoughts on this free fun ride? Would you recommend this fun ride to people? See what I did there, Lou?
It wasn't a fun ride.
Even for free, you wouldn't recommend it?
All right. You know what? if you take out all of the scenes with Dieter and Vanderhul and just put them as like this little box that you could just watch those scenes over and over again, yeah. Then I would recommend it. Just those scenes.
Okay.
Wow.
Over and over again.
Now I'm going to ask you to speak for somebody else here for a second, Robin.
Yeah.
I assume you watched this with your husband.
I did.
And what did he think of it?
He liked it. He thought I was ridiculous.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, score one for Tim. I was going to say, because when we talked about it on Random Chatter, I remember a very different story. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I actually left the room several times. I was doing dishes. I was like, whatever.
No
I could
you
hear
couldn't
the
follow the
zombies
5
yelling
movies that were attached to it.
Across the house. I could hear.
That's funny. Okay, so next up, speaking of paying...
We can't do what I want to do.
We can't do what you want to do?
What do you want to do?
Yeah, because Luke hasn't seen it yet.
Lou has seen it. Has he not?
Not what I want to do.
I've started it, but I haven't finished it. Now I'm going to wait and watch
What?
it with my wife.
What? Cruella?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you not want to
I
cover
didn't
Cruella?
know.
Yeah,
I do.
so
Desperately.
as I was saying, speaking of
Lou
the
said he wasn't-
$30 premium for...
Yeah, I started it, but I haven't finished it. And I said, well, let me wait and watch it with my wife.
Lou, I've seen it twice
So
already.
we are going to cover Cruella on Movie Chatter, in part to let you know whether it's worth the $30 that you would have to pay to watch it now, or whether it would be worth waiting until it's free on Disney Plus, or whether just don't see it at all. And we're going to give you a preview of that right now, so that if you think you do want to see it, you can have watched it by our next episode of Movie Chatter. So we're going to go around the room and just kind of a yes or no thing. We're not going to get into details or actually review it. But Lou, you haven't finished it.
Have not finished it. So far, the production quality is good.
Okay.
I like Emma Stone. I'm not a huge fan of the 101 Dalmatians story and so forth. So, whatever. But yeah, I'd say watch it. It's got high quality production so far.
And I remember Tim on our last episode of Random Chatter, where we were reviewing things, was very, very favorable toward it. And I saw it, as I said in that review, I was walking and expecting to not like it at all. I liked it. I would say that for most people, I will say that if you think it might be worth the $30, it will definitely be worth the $30. If you think it's not going to be worth the $30, but you might be willing to watch it as soon as it hits for free, I would say there's a good chance you may still end up appreciating it having spent the $30. It was that much better than I thought it would be. And then Robin, would you recommend people drop the $30 to watch it now?
Yes, and then watch it twice. I'm going to watch it like 3 or 4 more times.
That doesn't surprise me. And keep in mind, I'm single. Like when I drop the $30, I'm paying just for myself. If you, and I know a couple of people who've seen it in theaters, if you've got a family or, 2 or 3 or 4 people where you are, then yeah, no brainer. Drop the $30.
Yeah, I mean, if my wife and I went to the theater to see this, the theater I go to on the big screen on their better theater is $15.50 a movie.
You'd already be dropping that anyway.
You're already making out.
Plus refreshments and gas and yeah. Okay, so that's what we're covering next episode. We are going to break that down for you, tell you what we liked, what we didn't like, and a little bit more definitive recommendation. But if what we just said sways you one way or the other and you want to go check it out, then you have an opportunity to do that before we cover it next week. I don't know that like spoilers are going to be a big deal, but we will be giving some spoiler coverage.
Yeah, but yeah. So yeah, because the spoilers in this movie you don't want spoiled before you see it.
I mean, she's the hero, right? I mean,
she's kind of. Anyway, saving that for next week. Okay, so that's going to do it for this episode of Movie Chatter. Thank you for hanging out with us, and we would like to know from you what you think of the movie. Not of Cruella. Well, we want to know that too, but we want to know what you thought of Army of the Dead. So let us know. You can put it in the comments down below, and if you're listening to this as a podcast, we would recommend you go over to youtube.com/randomchatter hit the subscribe and like button, and throw your comments in down below. Even if you just listen to the audio version, that's okay. You can still comment there. We'll still see it. That's going to do it for this week. I think we're reprising our Star Wars role-playing session this Thursday. I think we've got to check with Lou and
I
Carrie.
think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good. If Carrie
Awesome.
is. Yeah.
So we're going to do that. That'll be part 2, and then we are going to be covering news and reviews and more Star Wars stuff on Sunday night, where we do Random Chatter, multiple Random Chatter shows, and Force Chatter. So be sure to tune in there as well. We do those live, or you can always catch them later on YouTube as well. So that's going to do it for this episode. Until next time.